A favorite of mine for programs on this festival, in our all Bach festival, is the evening of the Magnificats and the Sinfonia. I call it Bach and his Boys concert. And it has the J.S.Bach Magnificat. Now this piece was when he first took his job in Leipzig. I think it was 1723. His job was, of course, to do all kinds of stuff. He was kind of the schoolmaster, taught Latin there. He also, of course, was in charge of the choir for the services, but for all the churches in town as the cantor there in Leipzig. And he arrived there, and in November of that year, they let him have some time off to prepare for that first Christmas. And that first Christmas he presented this Magnificat. This was a happy J.S. Bach writing a work in Leipzig for his first kind of big presentation for the city. And so he pulled out all the stops. It's a small little work, about 30 minutes, but great 30 minutes with wonderful solos, his typical fugue, and he does some cool effects too. Like there's one spot in there where desperate, where he talks in and throws that text out, and of course it means to scatter. And of course, guess what he does? He scatters it between the parts. So you hear it over here in the altos and you hear it in the basses. It's just great fun. Now, also on that program is C.P.E. Bach's Magnificat. Now, probably one of his most prominent sons as a composer was C.P.E., Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach. C.P.E. was really known as kind of starting the Rococo or the early in classical style. Mozart said, one quote about Bach, C.P.E. Bach was the father of us all musically, and Haydn had great respect for him, and Beethoven spoke of him as one of the great masters of the time. And so he was revered by other composers, and he was really the one who kind of helped get this classical style started. But in this Magnificat, he tips his hat back to his father. C.P.E. wrote this Fugue from Hell. It is one of the coolest fugues you're ever going to hear, because it's difficult, it's fast, it's furious, and it's exciting. Now, if that wasn't enough for you, we're doing a J.C.F. Bach Sinfonia. And one of his sons, and this piece is frankly not very often played because it's been recently rediscovered and discovered. And where they discovered this was the Moravians have it in their archives. So we're doing one of the first modern performances of this work. So once again, the two sons and the father in some of the most cheerful, celebratory, magnificent music you can imagine of this era.